Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are focusing on one of the most urgent and heartbreaking humanitarian challenges of our time, the Pakistan flood crisis. This disaster has displaced millions, left countless families without shelter, and has created an urgent need for international aid and collective support. What makes this tragedy especially critical is not only the scale of devastation but also the long-term consequences for communities, agriculture, and the overall stability of the region. Just like reviewing a product, we will break down the situation in terms of exterior, interior, performance, safety features, unique selling points, price, and conclusion so that you can understand the full scope of what is happening. When we talk about the exterior, we are describing the visual, surface-level impact of the floods across Pakistan. The exterior devastation is massive. Entire landscapes have been submerged underwater, highways washed away, villages drowned, and cities surrounded by floodwaters that stretch as far as the eye can see. The sheer volume of rainfall combined with overflowing rivers has created lakes where once there were bustling neighborhoods. From the outside, one can only see destruction, broken bridges, collapsed houses, ruined crops, stranded vehicles, and families forced to stand on rooftops or higher ground in hopes of survival. This exterior perspective shows us the true magnitude of nature's force and how unprepared infrastructure is in the face of such overwhelming water levels. Moving to the interior, the damage is even more personal and heartbreaking. Inside the homes of flood victims, everything they own has been destroyed: furniture, clothes, food supplies, and precious memories washed away in a matter of hours. The interiors of schools, hospitals, and shops have been submerged, leaving people without essential services and children without education. For the families living through this crisis, the interior impact is not just the loss of property but also the destruction of safety and dignity. Many families are now forced to live in temporary tents with no electricity, no clean drinking water, and no privacy. This brief glimpse inside their daily lives shows the real suffering of millions of ordinary people whose world has been turned upside down. If we consider the performance of the response system, the results are mixed. Pakistan's local authorities and rescue teams are working around the clock, risking their lives to evacuate people and deliver emergency supplies. Boats, helicopters, and trucks are being used to reach stranded areas. International organizations and NGOs have also stepped in with food, medicine, and temporary shelters. However, the performance is slowed down by damaged infrastructure, lack of resources, and the overwhelming scale of the crisis. Despite the bravery and effort of those on the ground, millions are still waiting for aid. Performance here is measured not only in speed but also in effectiveness, and the sad truth is that the sheer volume of displaced people has stretched resources far beyond their limit. When we think of safety features in the context of this crisis, they represent the measures being taken to protect lives and prevent further tragedy. Relief camps have been set up, clean water is being distributed to fight against diseases like cholera and dengue, and medical teams are working tirelessly to save lives. Safety features also include attempts to rebuild stronger shelters, provide protective gear to rescue workers, and educate communities about how to stay safe in flood-prone regions. But safety is still fragile. Diseases are spreading in overcrowded camps, malnutrition is on the rise, and vulnerable groups such as children and the elderly are at high risk. Without adequate safety nets, the danger continues long after the waters begin to recede. The unique selling points of this crisis, if we can put it in those terms, are the lessons it teaches us about resilience, unity, and the urgent need for climate action. Pakistan's flood crisis is not an isolated event, it is a wake-up call for the world. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and more intense due to climate change, and countries with fragile infrastructures are paying the highest price. Yet in the midst of tragedy, we see inspiring acts of kindness. Communities come together to rescue neighbors, volunteers work day and night without rest, and international aid groups step forward to share resources. The unique story here is one of both devastation and humanity, showing us how people can rise to face the impossible when survival is at stake. If we were to talk about price, the cost of this disaster is almost beyond calculation. Economically, billions of dollars have been lost. Crops have been destroyed, leaving farmers bankrupt and food supplies threatened. Infrastructure will take years to rebuild, and businesses have been wiped out. The government is now facing enormous financial pressure to both recover and provide aid. But the true price is human suffering. Millions of lives disrupted, children losing education, families losing loved ones, and entire communities facing poverty that may last for generations. The price is also environmental, as fertile land has been eroded and livestock killed, leaving long-term scars on Pakistan's future. In conclusion, the Pakistan flood crisis is not just a national disaster but a global humanitarian emergency. Its exterior destruction, interior heartbreak, performance struggles, fragile safety features, unique lessons, and unimaginable price make it one of the most urgent issues of our time. As viewers, we must understand that this is not simply news to watch and move on from. Millions of people are still in desperate need of food, clean water, shelter, and medical aid. The international community must step up, and individuals like us can also play a role through donations, raising awareness, and supporting relief efforts. This is a crisis that shows us how vulnerable humanity is, but also how strong we can be when we come together. The story of Pakistan's floods is not just about water. It is about resilience, survival, and the hope that even in the darkest times, compassion and action can bring light. If there was ever a time for the world to unite and help, it is now. Let this be the moment when we not only talk about tragedy but also take part in relief, recovery, and rebuilding. Millions are counting on it, and history will remember how we responded.